Okay, it's the morning after Barack Obama's great acceptance speech, and I'm sitting here in the lobby with Kerry Morgan, who's from Western Kentucky. And Kerry, on a scale of 1 to 10, how tired are you?
I'm going to put that at about a -7, probably.
A -7?
Yeah.
So you're not tired?
Extremely. Oh, you mean 10 being the
10
top?
being the top.
Okay, well, then we're going to have to say like about a 25.
25. I would say I'm like Spinal Tap. I'm turned up to 11 on the tired.
11, yeah, yeah.
But I feel, while I'm tired, I feel totally energized at the same time. It's a weird dynamic. Tell me about your experience last night in the stadium.
Well, I was a little overwhelmed. I was just amazed. I had great seats so I could see the entire stadium, and the people just kept coming in and coming in. I had earlier had been out in the massive lines. It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
a sea of people getting in, and I was amazed. I could not believe that all of these people were coming and that so many people wanted so much change in our country that they were willing to take the time and stand in the heat,
Stand in line,
for hours
on blacktop.
on blacktop.
Young and old too. I
It
mean,
was.
I'm 30 years old, and that line was hard on me,
Uh-huh.
and I saw, people much older.
It was. So from that perspective, just looking out at the crowd, I definitely sense that there is a movement in our country, and this last night was the beginning of the change.
And you've been to other conventions. How does this compare in terms of the mood?
Completely different. I've been to the last two conventions, Los Angeles and Boston. Los Angeles, we were excited, but we also had the Clinton scandal to deal with. It was fun, but it was more of a Hollywood type fun because we were in Los Angeles. Boston, there was just a real reserved feeling while we were there.
Because so much was riding on it.
Yes, exactly. This time, it is just more people are here. There's just more of an energy. There's more of a focus on the problems that we have in our country and the fact that the Democratic Party needs to come into leadership and take over and get things changed for us.
Well, let me ask you about that. You're from Western Kentucky, which has traditionally been a very red area of our state. But it strikes me as the kind of place where if we're going to make the changes we need to deliver the message to those parts of the country about the message of change, about the direction that Barack Obama wants to take us in, and the Democratic leadership back in the state. I mean, we need to sell Bruce Lunsford to Western Kentucky to get Mitch McConnell out of power. What can we do in those areas of the state to appeal to those voters?
We just look at their lives and ask them, are you better off now than you were 8 years ago? The answer would be no. You've probably lost a job, or you're not getting your raises. You're finding it harder and harder to provide just the basics for your family. I think Western Kentuckians are finding it harder to educate their family. And when you put those just basic things that we as Western Kentuckians want to have a good life, I think most people will realize that they've not been served well, that really they've been mistreated by this last administration, and we'll just convince them they don't want 4 more years of that. They want to turn this country around just like the rest of the country. Western Kentuckians were pretty pragmatic, and when we think about it and go through all of the issues facing us, it's pretty obvious that the Democratic Party is going to be the party to lead us out of there. There's also social issues, but then I just remind them, well, the Republican Party has preached to you about these social issues for the past 8 years, but what have they done for you besides take your vote?
Yeah, I think that's a very important point, and I think that the Democratic Party is doing a much better job at taking these wedge issues and neutralizing them by focusing on these, kitchen table kinds of issues.
Sure. The wedge issues come into play only when there's really not much else going on. And so the Republicans like to stir it up and get everyone fired up about these social issues that bother us. But the reality is those issues are so important for many people, but when you can't afford to put gas in your car, when you can't put food on the table, when your job is being sent abroad,
when your kid can't go to college,
that's the kind of thing that people take to heart, and when it's hurting their pocketbook, that's where they're going to look for an idea about how they're going to vote.
Totally. Well, even though we're real tired, I'm fired up and ready to go. I hope you are too, Kerry.
I am, absolutely. This has been great. It really recharged me, and look forward to getting back to Kentucky and getting back with all my friends and making a change in our community.
Thanks very much, Kerry Morgan from Western Kentucky, for talking with bluegrassroots.org.